past 10 o'clock.
We're good.
I'd like to call to order the Properties Environment and Economic Development Committee. May I please have a roll call?
Mr. Beggs?
Here.
Mr. McCormick?
Here.
Mr. Hardy?
Here.
Mr. Erickson?
Here.
Mr. Walker?
Here.
Looking for approval of the minutes of July 24, 2025.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Moved by Beggs, seconded by Hardy. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Would there be any changes to today's agenda? Would anyone have any additions to the agenda? Hearing none, I'll look for an approval of today's agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Support.
Moved by Beggs, supported by McCormick. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Public comment. Would there be any public comment at this time? Hearing none. Administrator Biard, HVAC revised bids for the county.
After discussion at the previous meeting, there was a request to do some investigating on the mini splits, because mini splits were included in some of the proposals but not in others, and I reached out to Mr. Schlack, and he informed me that those are rather new units and that they do not need to be included. So at the request of the board, I've provided the two top bids without the mini splits in them, and those are included in your packet.
Mr. Erickson, may I?
Yes, Mr. Walker.
When Brian was here, Slack, he recommended during budget time that we replace the furnaces in that building. That's what we got there, you know, why we're here now. The furnaces are the original furnaces that we had there. So there are actually 6 of them, and we have 2 different prices on them. But if you would look at your page 8 and page 11, I just want to point something out to the board members. On page 8, the lower price that we have at $55,000 is a 1-year craftsmanship warranty and a 1-year train parts warranty. On page 11, the more expensive one we have, it's a 10-year warranty on parts, and it's a 20-year warranty on the heat exchangers.
Wow.
Which to me is a big issue. And the one with it is more money. It's roughly just under $7,000 more money. But when we're getting a 20-year warranty on the heat exchanger, which is something that can go out on a forced air furnace, and we're getting a 10-year warranty on parts with all the electronics and everything in there, and that is a local bidder. For me, that narrows down the scope and the price a little bit when we have the different warranties in them.
I agree.
1 year's a horrible warranty for something that.
Well, I am surprised by 1 year.
Yeah.
But I have seen that just recently in a house that I built too. You know, and that was one that you could upgrade the warranty for several $1,000s more.
Yeah, that's a small price difference for that warranty issue, because you can spend that very
And I
quickly.
think the reason I didn't talk to either one of the people, and Tracy and I have talked a lot about this, you know, because we said we were going to go forward and, you know, narrow down from the two low bidders. I think probably the reason that the one bidder didn't price all the mini splits was because he has a maintenance contract on all of our HVAC things, and he probably realized that those mini splits didn't have to be replaced, you know, and the drop in the price by taking the mini splits out by the other one, I can guarantee you, you cannot buy a mini split, or you cannot buy 3 mini splits for $2,000. They're gonna cost more than that. The tiny one that we bought to go out at the transfer station was $1,400, Joel, is
I
that
think somewhere in there. Yeah.
somewhere in it?
Then you have to install
So, but I just wanted to point that out to the, remind you how we got there, and with Brian, when he was our maintenance person, he was always looking forward in the capital expenditures and looking at things that we should, consider in the future. And that's why we're here with the systems. So thank you,
Thank you,
Mr.
sir.
Mr. Harrison.
Yes, Mr. Beggs?
Anderson Mechanicals, who has our maintenance contract currently,
Yes.
right?
I know what I would do if I was paying the bill.
It's a big difference in warranty for
Yeah.
$7,000.
Especially when we're talking 6 units,
Yeah, $1,200 a unit.
$1,200 a unit or less.
Great.
Thank you.
Appreciate that.
Ms. Biard, request to sell the transfer station backhoe.
Forklift. We'd like
We had a
to,
forklift also out.
yes, we had both. The backhoe is gone,
Yep.
and we did, sell that through CAT. And now we're asking to, be able to consign with CAT again for the forklift, because the forklift is not being used. And,
Joel.
yes, and I did receive an email from CAT, and, they said that they would like to post it for $8,000. Joel, did you have anything you'd like to add to that?
Apparently, the unit is in good condition, other than one of the pneumatic tires. The front tire is shot, so it needs to be replaced. That's sold as is, so whoever would buy it would have to make that repair. I kind of feel like that's a little low on the number. They want them to be fast, they post them, they want them gone, they don't want them sitting there, so that's the drawback. We raise the price and it doesn't move, then, I don't know, items seem like they stall out if they don't go right away. But I still think we should tell them that, I think maybe we should post it for 12 myself. I didn't talk to the sales guy about it, it's just my own opinion.
May I? The reason we had that forklift out there was when we bought the baler for the cardboard, they needed something to move the bales of cardboard at the time. And we had bought a reconditioned baler, and we put up a building for the reconditioned baler. Joel, may I speak about both of these at the same time? The baler, and the reason I'm asking Joel is because he has done more out there than I have. The baler is not being used and hasn't been used for several years because it is so labor intensive. They have the cardboard. There's a new building for it that we put up when we bought the baler, and that building has 220 in it. It's got a big service in there, sub-feet into there, but the cardboard would get thrown inside the building, and then somebody would have to stack it all inside the baler and stuff, and it was just so labor intensive, it just didn't get used anymore. American Classic, with their operation, they have their recycle tubs, several of them there. How many yard tubs are those, Joe?
They're probably a 10-yard, I would guess.
10-yard, and they have one set for cardboard, one set for foam, and all the different things. They break it all down. They just want that cardboard or all of that stuff thrown in the tubs, and then they're going to come and pick up the tubs, and they process all of that back at Grant at their recycle center, and they don't They handle very, very little of it. It's all automated, the way they do all of that down there. And they didn't have, if they take over the operation, they are not going to use the baler, and they are not gonna use the forklift, because the forklift is, boy, it's a Cat forklift. It's in decent shape. It has been
It's got
kept.
5-foot forks on it, it's pretty nice.
It,
Pretty
it,
nice little
it's been kept right off a loading dock, right inside of a semi. It has not sat outside, you know, and I bet every cold storage place around here, you know, if somebody in a cold storage place uses Cat forklifts, Joel knows the value of them more than I do, but if somebody uses Cat products and stuff, I wouldn't think that forklift would be hard to sell.
What did we get for the backhoe?
18,000?
Yes,
Better than I thought.
yes.
In the
It
back,
sold in about 20 minutes.
Oh, yeah,
So we sold it too cheap?
they had it sold
How do you
before
know?
the paperwork was even signed. So, yeah, it's pretty good.
Mr. Harrison,
Yes, sir.
if I may, Joel, the tire replacement, any idea what that would run?
I didn't look up the value of that. I mean, I'm sure it's an expensive tire, but I don't know, $1,000 go a long ways towards it, I'm sure. That's another thing that makes that a little more valuable than a regular shop lift. You know, you got the pneumatic tires, so you can run it out on the gravel, you know. But then the drawback, of course, is maintaining the air in it, but, those machines do tend to be more expensive than just a regular hard tire you see on a
Yeah.
shop floor, you know.
Joel, do you think we should just put out requesting bids for it? You know, instead of just putting a price and the first person get it, the alternative, maybe we should.
I don't know, it's kind of a nice, I think it's a nice deal having CAT do it, because, you know, the person gets the machine and this and that, something happened, well, they did the inspection, they handled the sale, and we're out of it, you know. We pay them 10%.
For a few $1,000s, I don't think could we set it at a higher bid?
Yeah, we could just, it's up to the board. I mean, like I say, those guys look at machines every day. They know what the market is, and they know how it's gonna move, and they don't wanna set on it. They wanna put a number on it and have it gone. I just think it's low. If we push the number up, maybe it sets and it doesn't go. But the customers that are looking at it can do the same thing. They can come back and say, well, I'll give you 10, or I'll give you 5, or whatever they wanna do, and it's up to the CAT sales guy to present it to us. If they come back with the number that's posted, it's gone, like the backhoe.
What do you think would be a reasonable number to ask them to put on it?
I kinda think we should go 12,000 on it, and they recommended 8, that's what they sent in their paperwork, but it just seems a bit low to me.
We can always go down, we can't go up.
Right, and like I say, somebody that's interested can offer a lower number.
Right. As quickly as the backhoe sold, I agree with you, let's bump the number up a little bit, there's room to negotiate down, and, yeah. Something sells that quick, you definitely didn't ask enough, or somebody.
Hard to
didn't-
say. You know,
Somebody
you
didn't
just
know what
had-
they were
you
going
just had the
after.
right-
Parts too.
Right, yeah.
You had the right person,
Right.
With CAT, can we tell them we're asking 12, but they have the power to negotiate down to as low as 8?
we could probably, I'm sure we can do it that way, yep.
Well, that way they.
Otherwise, they're gonna come back with an offer to Tracy and say, okay, this is the offer we got, what do you wanna do?
Yeah.
But we could do it that way,
Well,
yeah.
just that we'll consider anything, you know.
I think that might be the best way to do it, give them an authorization,
That'd let the sales guy
handle the.
work it, yeah,
And they'll get a little more percentage if they sell it higher anyways.
exactly, yep.
And the backhoe was sold out of state. They came and picked it up, so, yeah.
But those sales guys are all communicating, you know,
Sure.
what machine is where, and
No, I think that's a good idea.
Very good. Do we need to talk about the baler anymore then?
May I?
Yes, sir.
There's a company down in Holland, is it, who specializes in balers. I think that's where this baler came from. That's kind of a select thing, you know, and it's gonna take some work getting it out of there, getting it out of that building. And Joel, do you think we should just contact that company that buys balers and refurbishes and sell balers because it's such a specialty item?
I think we should just ask them to come and do an inspection and give us a quote on it and see, you know, I mean, if it's a ridiculous number, we'll do something else, but if it's a reasonable number, I think that's the way to go.
I have no idea what one of those are worth.
I don't either. But those guys, I mean, we can find out, we can get some comparison.
That's a good idea.
Very good. Department head reports. Sheriff Bast.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning, Sheriff.
We did get some, news from Oceancraft Marine, the builder of our boat. We're told that that is in the very last stages, and, we're gonna be getting a further email about the pickup or delivery of that boat. So, we're kind of excited to hear that we got some news, that we've been working for that for a long time. We're, we're excited to get it, to learn that it's coming. We're disappointed that we didn't have it earlier for the summer, but it is what it is, and now we're just gonna have to work through that and have our new boat ready for next summer.
Should get polished up nice for this.
Finally ready to go.
All winter long.
Yeah. We got 48 people in jail. So got plenty of room in jail. Things are working fine. We got a work crew out at the transfer station yesterday and today, assisting with some of the cleanup out there. So we're at 3 inmates out there. I know I heard they did really well yesterday, and I'm sure they will today as well.
Quite a difference in what they've done. Quite a difference. They're doing really good.
Good. I know they, we worked with the drain commissioner one day last week as well, and she's kind of getting after us. She'd like to have them work every day. It's just, that it's a hardship to try to find staff to go out with them every day, and, But
Mr. Erickson?
Yes, sir.
Having spent some time out at the transfer station and going through all of this, would you please extend our gratitude to Lieutenant Snyder and to your staff for arranging that? It wasn't gonna get done without your help.
absolutely.
And that's my belief that would not have been done. So
Glad
thank
to be a helpful hand partner on the project, so no problem. Other than that, things are moving along pretty well. We're down one on the road, but we've been down on that position. We've got a young man. We're trying to get all the boxes checked from MCOLS, from the Michigan Commission on Law Enforcement, which is oversight of law enforcement in the state of Michigan. And we're just working through MCOLS to try to get him available so he can come to the road. And then we would be full on the road and in the jail. So we're staffing wise, we're pretty good. Any questions for me?
I'd like to say thank you for the job they've done over at the Chadwick Munger House. So I went in yesterday and the gals were absolutely thrilled with what he had done there.
They reached out and they paid compliment to that young man. He's one of our trustees. He's from Hesperia. He's a nice young man. He's got a problem with some substance, but when he's with us and he's sober, has a little bit of supervision, and he's a hardworking, nice young man. We've actually reached out because he's due to go to prison. And Lieutenant Schneider is working because he works so well. He works so hard. He's going to do a year and a day in prison. Lieutenant Schneider's going to offer to see if the prosecutor and his defender will work with keeping him in-house for a year instead of a year and a day, and keep him at trustee status, because we've appreciated his work ethic so far as a trustee, because I can tell you, that word trustee is confusing. You can't trust them all. And their work ethic is subject to change too. Some of them will not work to save their soul. This young man will work very hard, so we're appreciating him.
But it probably benefits him, because if he goes to prison, he's just gonna sell and do the routine, where if he's here, he can have some purpose and.
He can, yep, he can get out, get some fresh air and have some,
That's good. Big difference.
Yep.
A lot of happy gals.
yeah, I don't get a lot of calls with those compliments, so it was a welcome call, so, yeah. Anything else? I'll be here all day, thank you.
Thank you.
Would there be any public comment? Hearing none, we'll adjourn the Properties Environment Economic Development Committee meeting.
All right, continuing on, I'm gonna call to order the Finance and Administration Committee. Can we have a roll call, please?
Mr. Beggs?
Here.
Mr. McCormick?
Here.
Mr. Hardy?
Here.
Mr. Erickson?
Here.
Mr. Walker?
Here,
I ask for approval of the meeting minutes from August 14th.
Make a motion to approve?
Motion by Beggs, support by Erickson. Any questions? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Are there any changes to the agenda?
yes, Mr. Hardy. Right after the Oceana County Policy Handbook, can we add motion number 2025-109 for approval of a grant, a Department of Transportation grant for the Council on Aging?
All right. Any other changes to the agenda? All right, ask for approval of the agenda.
I'll make the motion to approve the agenda.
Support.
Motion by McCormick, support by Walker. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carried. Is there any public comment this time for the Finance and Administration Committee? Any public comment? Moving on, Administrator Biar, the opioid participation agreement.
So these are two new, settlements for opioids. And I'm asking the board to approve these agreements. This will bring in more funds into our opioid fund. At this time, we have not started utilizing those funds, with the exception of, a payment on the scanner that went into the jail. However, that is working through a process with MSU Extension and a group that the board approved to take a look at what we're gonna utilize those funds for. So, they are compiling those surveys, and once we get those, I can get that information to you and, give you an update on what the board has decided. So, I'm just asking that you sign these two new agreements so that we can, add additional funds to the opioid fund.
Great.
Questions? Yes, Mr. Walker.
Is that MSU or the extension? I think it's just right out of MSU. I don't think the extension is involved with the.
Okay, it may be.
No, because
Just the MSU.
I remember seeing them, you know,
Yeah.
it's not a big difference, but I remember seeing when we initially got into that it was, you know, the backlog, and it was coming right, you know, from somebody right at that.
We did have a meeting with them recently too, and they were, somewhat worried that some of that funding was gonna go away, that MSU wasn't gonna be able to help us with those, with compiling that information, but we're hoping that ours is gonna be completed before that, so we won't have to worry about it. But
Before it goes away, see if we can use any of that funding that we're getting to supplement them to help us with our organization on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the amount will be for these two settlements. It was in a percentage amount, so we don't know what that's gonna look like yet.
All right. Ms. Biar, the Lakeshore Regional Entity Intergovernment Contract.
this is the contract with our Lakeshore Regional Entity, pertaining to PA2 funds. And I'm asking that the board approve this contract for those funds.
Bottom line is, without a contract with them, we don't get PA2 funds. Because there's a fiduciary for it, for the 8 counties. And if you see in the list in there, when you start dealing with Kent County and all the rest of them, and I think at this time, we just, the Community Mental Health, West Michigan Community Mental Health just got a grant to do some work on that, you know, in Oceana and Lake and Mason County. But I think we have funds available right now, someplace around $320,000. So, and it's renewable funds, there's more every year or so. And all that board does is, it looks at all of the requests, and it just, one of the guidelines on PA2 where you have to have a board to approve the actual, you know, expenditures.
All right, Administrator Biara, Oceana County Policy Handbook revisions.
So you all received a copy of that, large document.
Just 65 pages.
Yeah, that's all. So, Chairman Walker gave me some, a few things that he wanted to see with regards to some revisions, and I have that here with me. But it was basically, adding some, like adding human resources to, along with the county administrator, changing clerk to county administrator, just because of payroll being in our department now. So most of the information that was in there was wording that was provided to us by the county attorney. So I don't know if anybody had anything that they wanted to.
Mr. Walker, I think one.
I don't remember the specifics on it, but when I read, if somebody has a harassment complaint, they can take it to the elected person or their department head, or they can take it to the county administrator. I thought it was prudent to add or the human resource director in there, so they have 3 different places. If somebody has an issue that they think they're being job site harassment or any, you know, improper thing, they have 3 different people they can take it to, any one of the 3. So, and then the other ones, you know, as the administrator said, was it, if somebody had a claim for payment, for travel, if they were outside the area, you know, we don't fund any money for travel ahead, but when they turn in their claim for payment, it said it go to the county clerk's office. Well, the clerk eventually sees it, but it goes to the administrator's office to start the process. The clerk will see it, you know, when it gets approved. And then one of the other changes that I asked Tracy to put in there was conflict of interest disclosures by board members, and how we had just adopted that change on the advice of our attorney, that the person who declared the conflict of interest is not excluded from voting, but the vote has to be by 3/4 instead of a simple majority. And I asked that.
For cause testing, you wanted to know if we should add automobile crash with injury.
Let's stop on that. Sheriff Mass? Sure. We have in our employee handbook that different times that if an employee is injured on the job, you know, there can be, you know, drug and seriously injured, there can be drug and alcohol testing for that employee. Is it reasonable, do you think, if an employee is involved with a very serious, accident with a county automobile or on county time, you know, with their own automobile, that should we be requesting a blood and alcohol screen if that goes on? Is that reasonable, or if it's a fatal accident, we know it's gonna be done automatically?
Absolutely, it's a fatal accident requirement.
But we don't know if a real serious accident can turn into a fatality. Do you have any thoughts on that?
So we often make that request and or search warrant on serious accidents where we're concerned about that outcome. I like the idea. I wonder what the union, that's always my concern.
Well, that's one particular one that we're gonna have to run by the attorney anyway, to see if we can do that, you know, do that one.
Yeah.
Let's
It's
try
pretty
it.
standard industrial, I mean,
Yeah,
It is, well,
that might be something though too to check with the insurance company, because that might be a requirement that the insurance company actually.
workman's comp.
Workman's comp.
May, regardless of what we say, they may say there's gonna be a,
But that, all of those included, that's where my thought was, you know, see, were we doing this, should we? And I think the administrator has some direction, check with the attorney and check with the comp carrier. I had another one in there, just hold on for just a second.
Driving record, this appears to be at the time of employment, should we be able to do random checks?
Some of us who have been here for a while know that we had an employee who was driving on a revoked driver's license, who had a county-owned vehicle for several months. And at that time, the county had a third party who did random checks on employees for their driver's license record, and we found out that that person had been suspended for several months. Well, the person no longer works for us, didn't work for us too long afterward. But is it reasonable, Sheriff, that's another question for you, to have it in there that we can still have the option to do random, you know, checks to make sure that somebody has a valid driver's license? This particular case, the person received a misdemeanor violation in the Upper Peninsula and thought it was far enough away that the ticket didn't have to get paid. Well, being a misdemeanor, she ignored all the notices from the state, and it would have been ugly for us if there would have been an accident.
very well could have been. My mind immediately goes to whether or not that we can perform that as a lien violation.
We did that to a third party.
Okay, and if you're proceeding through a third party, through all the correct channels, I think it's a great idea.
And I think it's our, I think it was our workman's comp carrier, or no, our liability carrier.
Yeah.
Our liability carrier was doing that. But I think that's another one that maybe, is it reasonable for us to do that, is what I asked the board members first. And if it is reasonable, let's ask the attorney that same question at the same time. Can we do random checks on driver's license?
And you know, it's a shame it's so simple for us to do, but we can't. We're under such scrutiny for lien.
Well, you can't tell us what it says.
Right, right, exactly. I can't.
But those were the only things that I found.
Yeah.
You know, it's pretty, not very many things for a 65-page document. And I'm glad it wasn't the 200-page document.
Okay. In case you guys didn't know, that was a synopsis of the changes and not the entire 200 and some pages, so.
Yes,
Thank you, Sheriff.
so when the attorney came back with the document and all the changes, I asked Jessica to put a synopsis of the changes together so that you weren't having to look at that entire thing. So she did a really good job putting this together, so.
Any other questions or comments? All right, moving on. Mr. Walker, did you want to do the grant revision, or want me to?
We have
They are here to talk about that if you,
Pardon me?
they are here to talk about that if you
Please.
like.
Please come on up.
The Department of Transportation doesn't give you much time, do they?
Yeah, that's all right. So, I just wanna thank you for adding it to the agenda. This, state has a very short turnaround because it's for fiscal year 25. There was some funding left on the table and they're distributing it for specialized services. So, while it won't offset a lot of costs, it will greatly help. So we just ask that you approve the additional funding.
I don't see a problem with this.
I don't see a problem with it either. I'm glad it got on it and didn't delay another till the next meeting. So.
Yep.
And everybody got a copy of that, yeah. Administrator Biard, administrator review of selected claims for payment and administrative report.
The claims for payment are included in your packet. Are there any questions on those?
Just one if I may. The top of the claim for payment, change it to today's date. We have July 24th on the one that we approved, and the other one, just a minor slip up.
And I talked to Jana about that, and she was making that change for us.
That's very minor, but I look at that all the time because they're all on the same format and make sure that I'm looking at the right
Looking at the
one.
right week.
Right.
And, administrator's report, I did provide, one in your packet, however, I do have some, other things that I just wanted to touch on. The CSB building roof, is complete. The windows are almost done, they're completing those today. They were working on those the day before yesterday, so, I've been getting some pictures back and showing me the progress. There was a little bit of wood rot below the windows, and they did remove those boards and put new board in. So, that is, supposed to be completed today. Transfer station, to piggyback on, we were talking a little bit about the trustees. Joel did provide a bid for a company to come out and, it wasn't from, his company was from Beckman's, for removing a wall, moving some dirt. They're trying to get some things changed out there a little bit to, maneuver traffic a little bit better. And I have reached out to 2 other companies and they are, supposed to meet with Jake or Brian out there to, take a look at that and provide us a bid. So, I'll have that for the board, at a later time. I reached out to, another company about meeting with Jake or Brian about the fence, the gates that are out there, because they're not, large enough. At one point, we were talking a little bit about, traffic flow on M20 and adding, some lanes on the sides. We had talked about it a little bit, and, I talked to Mark Timmer with the road commission, and they're doing a tunnel under the road, under M20, and thought it might be feasible to talk a little bit about this at that time, so that, we talk about saving money, incorporate those 2 projects together, just to see what that would look like. Of course, that would be coming to the board for approval, once we know what that looks like.
Yeah, that's a state highway, so.
Yeah.
You know, it's not gonna be the road commission. you know, The state highway, but,
And I did talk to him about that, yeah.
and by the time we get done with the engineering, we'll probably have sticker shock.
Yeah, probably. So, a lot going on out there and trying to get things completed. We did get a, proposed contract from the county attorney after they looked at what was provided to us by American Classic. They typed that all up for us. There were some questions in there. I've run those by Mr. Walker to take a look at. Joel took a look at it a little bit. No decisions were made on those. Just taking a look at them so that we can get that proposed to Jake, from American Classic, so we can see what they're gonna come back with, and then that'll come to the board for approval. Budgets were due the 18th. I have already started compiling that information, and, we do have some that are outstanding yet, that haven't come in, but, we're pushing to get those, and then, I'll have that information ready for you on the 23rd of September.
Do you mind if I bring up a couple things here?
No, that's fine.
You know, we've got some time here. I'm surprised that, the cells at the, pleasantly surprised at the, service building are not worse than they are. If that's all they had to do was pull out the cell underneath those.
Yeah.
Because we never, when that building was put up, we never wrapped the windows all the way around with the butylene or anything. It was just not built like they were now. And I'm surprised that it hasn't been, but that gives us a good thought when we want to do the rest of the windows, you know.
Right.
And it'll be easier to get the bids for the rest of the windows. That's why we only did 12 at this time. Couple other things that I gave to you today. One goes along with the PA2 money from the community mental health. The blue copy that I gave you is an interesting, the one that's highlighted in blue, just for you to look at later, is the programs that West Michigan Community Mental Health has going now to Public Acts 2, the money. The Public Acts 2, for those who don't know, that's the money we get back from the taxes on alcohol. It comes back to the local units of government. It's interesting. It tells about the programs in the jail that we have and the programs that have been set up in 3 counties through community mental health on police officers dealing with people with mental illness. So you can take a look at that later. The District 10 Health Department is kind of similar, but I brought this back. Paul and I were at the meeting last Friday, and I brought this back to take a look at, for you to take a look at. The first thing that I wanted to tell you on District 10 Health Department is there has not been an increase in our assessment to any of the 10 counties since 2022, and there is no plans to do an increase for 2026. So they're gonna hold steady. But if you look at the tiers in the bottom, when you get the opportunity to, the tier 1 are the essential services that a health department is required by law to do. Tiers 2 and 3 are the secondary services. And it was interesting when we were at the meeting last Friday.
Yep.
Tier 1, the assessment to the counties does not pay for all of the work that they have to do with drinking water, with the food services, with the visions for children, and the PSAFs and all of those. It does not cover that. But with the grants they get from tiers 2 and 3, that supplements the mandatory things. And for me, it just shows the quality of the administration that the 10 county community mental health has. It's the largest geographic, health department. It's the largest geographic health department in the state of Michigan. And it shows the quality of the director that we have for that organization and the quality of the accounting department that we have. Paul, is that a safe one?
That's very well stated.
You know, that they're looking, and they're down several people now because of retirements, and everything, but at our meeting last Friday, the board passed a resolution to fund, District 10 Health Department for 2 additional weeks, if the state budget is not adopted, because our meeting is 2 days before, October 1st, and we didn't wanna back it up that far, so we wanted to have it 2 weeks in there. There is enough fund equity to fund it, but, we're leaving it at 2 weeks for this time, and we'll see what the state does. Hopefully, we won't have to do that. And that was discussed after a reach out from the director, that at least we're gonna do this a couple weeks at a time, because we don't want our long-term employees to start bailing and going into the private sector. Because they're like the sanitarian that we have here that does our well and septic inspections and everything. You don't find those people with the qualifications to do those things very easily, especially working in the public sector. But, I just wanted to bring these to both of you and explain why, I thought it was important that you see it.
And Robert, we should also add that they're actively cutting the budget. They're brainstorming, reducing through retirement, nutrition, not replacing, moving laterally, tightening up.
Well, I can tell you that the mental health departments have come to District 10 Health Department wanting the District 10 Health Department to file an objection to the new procurements that they're doing for private services for community mental health. And District 10 Health Department really, and those of us who sit on the mental health boards really are not interested in getting involved with that right now, because number one, we're 2 separate entities.
Right.
But number 2, our District 10 Health Department has done everything they could do to cut expenses. And the other ones are looking for all the rest of us to help them. And they have not cut expenses. Safe statement, Paul?
Pretty safe statement. And the best part is, there's 10 counties commissioners in the meeting, so we exchange a lot of ideas.
There's 20 of us. There's
Yes.
2 from each county.
So there are a lot of ideas go around the table at those meetings, and yeah, Kevin does a great job, and